Oh, look, it's the Australian image to some extent, isn't it? But you don't expect to see it in southwest Victoria.
We're on Mark Billings' farm. This is the first time this dam has run dry.
I'm fourth generation here, so we've been here nearly 100 years. Dad's always talked about the 67, 68 drought, and this is far worse than that.
Mark runs a dairy farm in La Pente in the heart of southwest Victoria. 3 years ago, his farm looked like this. Now it's gripped by drought.
And it's so insidious, it's hard on stock, it's hard on farmers and farming families.
Farmers here are experiencing their second year of dry conditions. Some properties have recorded their lowest rainfall on record.
Yeah, we've just rolled into another really, really dry period now, and here we are, May, and normally we would be having green grass on the ground again now.
Dr. Carl Braganza is from the Bureau of Meteorology. Carl, we visited Mark Billings' farm, which is around this area. What are we seeing where he is?
So on our rainfall deficiency map, which informs kind of drought, we're now seeing over the 15 months that this region is popping up as lowest on record. It's largely due to a lack of rainfall from the frontal systems that move across the country, typically in those cooler seasons, so especially from sort of April through to November. And those frontal systems haven't been producing as much rainfall.
Mark's completely run out of hay from his farm, and now he's buying it at a premium.
The price of feed's gone up $100, $150, $200 a tonne, just depending on what sort of feed we're buying.
20 minutes from Mark's property in GENAQ, there are farmers and locals whose water tanks and dams have run dry. They've resorted to shipping in water.
Generally a water season in a normal year would run from sort of December, late December, early January through to April, usually around Easter. And usually by then we'd get the autumn break and it'd pretty much stop. These trucks haven't stopped moving since about February of last year.
Lucy Richardson and her husband Scott run a water delivery company. They're working 7 days a week to meet demand.
We can get 18 to 20 calls a day, and today I've already had 6. So people are looking at it and they're sort of like, oh, we need water today. And knowing that you've got families with young children that don't have water, they're literally got nothing to bathe or drink or flush a toilet with. So you're doing the best you can.
It costs $500 to $600 per truckload of water.
So you can imagine a farmer that's getting 3 to 4 loads a week is looking at a couple of $1,000s a week in just water costs, let alone everything else that they have to deal with.
Ralph Cotter is the Victorian State Government's Regional Drought Coordinator. Despite announcing a $15.9 million support package for farmers last week, he says subsidies for water carting isn't being considered.
We're just a bit wary of providing subsidies like that might distort the market. So at this stage, that's not on the table.
From the start of the year, we've seen areas around Apollo Bay and out into the Western Victoria receiving about half their rainfall.
An hour south of GENAQ is Apollo Bay. Located on the famous Great Ocean Road, this coastal town is running out of drinking water. Despite a welcome downpour last weekend, it's not enough.
I think every drop counts, clearly.
2, 1, go!
To deal with the water shortage, Apollo Bay is now in Stage 3 water restrictions. It's a fact lost on some runners who flooded in for the Great Ocean Road Running Festival. Are you aware of the water restrictions?
No, I'm not. No, I had no idea we had water restrictions down here, no.
This weekend we've got the Great Ocean Road Running Festival. Lots of sweaty bodies having showers. The reservoirs will be further depleted.
While southwest Victoria has borne the brunt of the big dry, it's now spreading to other parts of the state. West Gippsland dairy farmer Evan Campbell is using his own hay reserves, but has now resorted to also buying feed.
The situation is already dire. I think it's going to get even worse.
In a separate paddock on his farm, there's a leaking tap. Evan says the grass here is what his paddocks should look like.
This time of year, we should have been in that.
Both Mark Billing and Evan Campbell have reached a critical point. They've had to make the tough decision to sell some of their herd.
This is an opportunity for us and some other farmers to move on some young stock that aren't fit for our business moving forward. If we'd had a normal year, I think we probably would have kept these. We've had to destock a little bit. We're probably 10 or 15% down on peak numbers that we would normally carry this time of year. If push comes to shove, if we don't get rain in the next sort of week or two, if things don't change for the better, then we'll have to make further decisions.
Is there anything else the government can help you with?
We need to not have the fire service levy.
Yesterday, more than 1,000 CFA volunteers, many of which are farmers, descended on the steps of State Parliament in Victoria. Farmers like Mark are angry at the government's new emergency services tax, which goes towards fire services, the State Control Centre, SES and 000.
Scrap the tax!
The levy includes a fixed rate and a variable charge based on property value. Farmers say this will disproportionately impact them.
I've had conversations with people that have been, raw, emotional and at times heartbreaking. It's not only the levy, it's the dry conditions that the rural communities are facing at the moment.
The prospect of above average rainfall in the coming months isn't good.
The pattern of this sort of grey areas on the map is suggesting we're not expecting much rainfall from the frontal systems that come across.
There are points in the day where you say, well, what can I do about it? We just got to make the best of it. But again, there's a point where you've got to say, well, okay, can our business survive this?
Can you handle another year?
I don't think so. I think if we go through a failed spring this year, there'll be a lot of farms and farmers not around.